And then, like, funny enough, we see Luffy wearing a large straw hat after unlocking Gear 5. So it's
Do you want to talk about your theory of what the One Piece is?
oh yeah, the time machine. Welcome to episode 52 of the Amb Ant Podcast. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Amber.
And we are back to talk about One Piece's Wano Country arc, otherwise known as...
Wait, shouldn't you at least give it a try? Why are you looking at
Oh,
me?
right. Okay, let's restart. Or do you want to keep it in?
We'll just keep it in.
Okay. One Piece, Wano Kunien.
Wano Kunien.
That's what I said then. Please subscribe to the channel for the YouTube algorithm.
I don't know why people would subscribe to us, to be quite honest. I was
We have
thinking about
88.
it. Oh my god.
Quite good.
They're probably all my mom's friends again. Thank you,
Wow.
Shushu But
Your
yeah,
mom is really
thank you.
popular, it seems.
She is.
Okay.
So, we're basically trying to cover the longest ever arc of One Piece here.
Right. We might not get over, like, we might not get all of it right now, but we can.
Well, what is even getting all of it? What is ever our goal when we record? We're just talking about our thoughts and feelings, and it ends however it ends.
Yeah.
And
We're pretty much reviewing anime, right? So we just talk about specific parts,
Sure.
ideas that they, like, kind of...
I feel like people expect a lot of like detail and like
Right.
accuracy, and I don't think we're trying to go for that. Anyways,
Yeah.
but as a context, I think we're both longtime One Piece fans, but
Right.
then we kind of like stopped reading / watching One Piece around when Wano Kuni started ish, right?
Yeah, so...
Or were you even earlier?
I stopped at around, like, I remember Whole Cake a little bit. I stopped around Zoe.
Yeah, I didn't like So. Even though I know that a lot of people really like So, I don't like I don't feel for them too much.
You're not a furry lover.
Unfortunately, and I am ashamed of myself.
Right,
Yes.
right. But you do like cats,
I love cats,
Right.
but just cats as cats.
right? Not cats
Indeed.
turning into, like, people turning into cats,
No,
half cats.
yeah, it makes me think of the young adult / like children's series. What is it called again? Animorph.
Yeah, Animorphs.
Animorphs.
That's
Yeah,
good.
no, those are like nightmarish material to me. So no.
Yeah, but
But
as
yes.
always, spoilers for Animorphs and spoilers for One Piece ahead.
I've never read Animorphs, but One Piece. So basically, I started watching / reading One Piece in elementary school, which is like 20 years ago. So then, rather than a diehard One Piece fan, because I've heard that the One Piece fandom is quite scary and intense online. I don't know if you've heard from like watching videos.
I've heard
by,
nothing.
Like, Nux. Oh, really?
Yes.
So, like, I just want to say, like, yes, we are One Piece fans, but no, we are not like anal One Piece fans who like fact checked everything and like think Oda's a god. He is great, but like there are loopholes and it's whatever.
Yeah,
and
there are
then
things
also,
about One Piece that we potentially do not. We see the faults as well. It's like...
yes, but we're not that critical. We're not like being freaking like analysts, like trying to find the faults either.
Yes.
We're just watching it for fun. Okay, just disclaimer. I feel like if there are
Sure.
actual One Piece fans, they're gonna come at us like
Sure.
if they see this. I know so.
Yeah,
Okay.
comment down below in this comment section, by the way.
And please don't kill us. And yes, we are longtime One Piece fans, but we're like light One Piece fans. I'll just put it out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, our experience of Wano is that we basically watched the anime, but we skipped a lot of parts of it when it's boring, which means that there are parts that we perceive as boring, and it's fine.
Right, so the anime does get a little slow at times where they kind of
It's so
just
slow.
talk for a while and nothing really happens. But I do enjoy all the characters that end up coming out. So, and then all the fights were kind of cool. towards the
all
later
the
towards
fights.
the later sections.
Well, you still skipped Sanji's fight with Queen.
It was a group decision, so
Group decision. There's only two of us.
yeah, right.
You're just dragging me down. Okay. I have to admit that even when I was younger, like when I was watching Prince of Tennis, I only watched or like mainly watched the matches with like season Ryuma, right? Yeah. And like when it's like other side characters, I don't care as much. So sorry, Sanji. Like he's kind of out there.
Right. I actually
Like-
I care a lot about if I was like super into it, like from like if I was like completely caught up and super into it, I could see maybe like staying for the entire thing, like just keeping up with all the side characters. But I'm not too sure because like it just depends on like I do enjoy like some kind of some side stories actually do not feel that bad to me. But I just don't.
I
just
like
don't know.
side stories. Oh my god. Like Yasuya, I cried so much. Like okay, so I read the manga for like until like Yasuya, not just that, like until right before the raid at Onigashima.
Sure.
But yeah, like I love side stories. But then like I just want to say like Sanji's characterization after the time skip has been pretty shit. Like
Right.
I
Right.
don't know why it's like they're still trying to do the like trio thing of like him, Zoro, and Luffy. Like, oh, they're the strongest, but like everyone knows that Sanji's not strong, and then he's kind of lame. Like,
Right.
he's so into women that it's like it's just not enjoyable to watch.
It affects his
And-
ability to like do anything.
Yeah, he used to be able to do certain things, you know?
Yeah.
And also like his suit, his like
His suit was cool.
like-
Yeah.
yeah, but then he barely used
The
it.
Gurma 66.
That's the issue.
Yeah. Like-
That's like the issue. Like the suit, I get it. It's like, oh, he doesn't want to be associated with his family, but then it's just like all of these mental limitations of like, oh, I can't hit women, I can't use a suit because I don't want to be associated.
Right.
These are really lame when the stakes are so high. Like,
Right.
y'all are going to be killed,
Yeah.
and then like your captain's gonna be killed by Kaido,
Right.
and then like
If you don't do
All
something now,
this-
everything will end, and then like,
And
then he's
yet-
like held back by his like,
yeah, and he's just,
he enjoys
like,
women.
he's not a good team member. And like,
Yeah.
you know, like when they were going on top, like with Jinbei, Luffy, and Sanji, they were trying to get Luffy to the top so then he can fight Kaido. And then like
Right.
Sanji just like heard / saw the shadow of like, oh, possibly a woman being assaulted, and then it's like all of a sudden that is more important than whatever matter is like at hand. And
Right.
it's like, yeah, like I get it, it's Sanji's kindness like that he's helping other people, but it's like it comes off as just like him being a simp, and it's very awkward.
Well, a female perspective on Sanji. Girls do
But
not
yeah,
like simps. It seems.
And like, because we're talking about Sanji, like I am also curious to hear your opinion about how he called out for Dobing when, like, you know, the bad guys, like the Spider Woman, was basically like, oh, you have to call for Dobing to come and save you.
Right.
And then he did.
So typically in One Piece, you always have the female character fight the female character. So essentially, like, he had to have Robin save him. Like, it was either Robin or Nami, and Nami was doing something else. So you could basically only have the female character fight the female character. There's no like Sanji hitting, you know, Black Maria. Yeah. He can't do that. So it's just it seems like
As much as like
she just saved him.
like yeah, maybe it's like it's been too long since them versus like CP9
CP9.
right? Yeah. What? Wait, what? CP1. Oh, okay, sorry.
CP9.
Yes. So do you remember like the soap woman back in the day?
Sure.
CP9?
Yeah.
And then
Nami
it's like
versus
he
Soap
was like fighting. At first, it was Sanji fighting her.
Yeah.
And then he was made into like a soap slippery man by
Yeah.
her because like he couldn't hit the woman, and then like Nami did it. I don't know how that was handled. I don't really remember how that was handled anymore. Right. Again, I like literally watched / read that in elementary school. So then it's like, I don't know. Maybe it was just more graceful back then, or maybe I'm just older. But then, like, how this was handled, first of all, because he's so much of a simp now, after, like, he was, like, apparently traumatized by the Okama on the Okama Islands. And, like, now he's just, like, a woman is everything. And then also, it's just, like, as much as I thought it was really cool how he trusted Loving so much that he was like, oh, I'm okay to just like call for her rather than like fight for her.
Sure.
I don't know. Like, it's so, I'm just disappointed in Sanji the whole time, and like therefore his fight with Queen, I'm like not that interesting.
Sure. I mean, I think they tried to bridge the gap a little bit because Zoro was clearly pulling ahead in terms of like power. So then they brought back his, suit potential, and then like now he's an android potentially as well. And it's just
yeah. I don't like that he's a cyborg. He's not an android.
Sure,
excuse
cyborg,
you.
yeah.
But it's like that. I don't know. Like, that kind of bothered me, and it's like, it's like, oh, does he still have a human heart? Became like the issue, and then he like saw a woman or something, and then he's like, oh, he still has a human heart because it's like heart pounds for woman. I'm like, holy fuck.
Sure.
Like, is there a better? I don't know. It's like, it's too funny in that serious situation.
Yeah.
But I also understand that Queen is a kind of like comedic villain rather than a serious villain.
Yeah. Queen was definitely the the rapper, the song
my God,
guy.
We've been singing the
so good.
It's
so good.
Time.
Like, it's just so ridiculous. It's so like random that like it's good. So
yeah. Oh, but still, like, because he's really comedic, it seems like he's not that strong.
Yeah, and then Sanji was able to defeat him. Although one thing about Wano is that, like, in general, the fights last forever and a half. So then they just like fight over and over, and then nobody really wins until the very end.
I wonder if it's because of the anime, or is it just it's also the same in the manga. I don't know. I don't really know. But then I don't know, I might be biased that the manga is always better than the anime just because the anime is so slow. Like, the pacing is terrible.
Right.
But that is beyond the point.
Yeah, so I mean, getting back to the beginning of Wano.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah, like we ranted on Sanji and the Queen and stuff like that, but yeah, I mean, how did you feel about the beginning of Wano?
Again, because I'm pretty invested in the vassals and like the samurai people. I feel like more so than you are.
Yeah, for sure.
So then I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed like all the people, even though it's kind of like in your it's just like, wow, industrialization is so bad.
Right.
The country has been ruined by factories. I get it. It's kind of just like a little much.
Yeah, so to speak a little bit more about that, it's just like we noticed that like the setting of Wano was basically how it's essentially Japan. Wano is Japan. The culture is Japanese.
Everyone noticed that. I don't think that's something to notice, but okay, go for it.
Sure. I mean, and then industrialization happening in Japan, like it's Kaido invading represented like kind of the Western forces or something, like invading Japan,
Blackship Perry,
and opening up the borders for like
forced open,
right?
Excuse
A
you.
forced open that kind of ruined their country. So is this like post World War II kind of historical context?
First of all, that's not post World War II. Excuse you.
Oh, I meant like in terms of industrialization, like when did that happen? Because this is like when they made like the factories and like things that poison the rivers and stuff like that. Like was that like alluding to post World War II kind of situation, or like for Japan, or what do you know about that?
The rapid industrialization in Japan started from the middle of the 19th century. So then
yes.
no. Yeah,
okay.
that's way
so
earlier
way
than
earlier. Okay.
World War. yeah, I think I was gonna say it should be about like Meiji era, which is way before World War II. So I don't think it's post World War II at all.
Okay. So what happened, I guess? What happened like in that era? Like why?
Oh my god, I'm not a historian.
So why is industrialization bad?
I don't think. What kind of question are you asking? First of all, I just want to say that like the Perry, the black ship Perry is 1853, which is what I basically remember.
What is black ship Perry?
Oh, it's just a fleet of ships from America that like kind of forced open Japan. It was like, oh, if you don't open your borders, we're gonna hit you. And then it's like, oh god, we need to open our borders for quote unquote commerce. And then it was like, oh, now Japan is no longer in isolation. But yeah.
Okay. So essentially, I guess Oda's stance on it is that like they shouldn't have opened, because in the end, like you remember that they also said we will not open right now. Like it's just
no,
we will not open the borders.
That's what
even after they like rescued the country.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Stuff like that,
but so. I don't think it's that big of a political commentary. I think that the end is not really a political commentary, but more on like the story, the lore of like. It's not ready yet. It's not ready for dawn yet.
Sure.
It's like to protect themselves against like the world government, which the world government I do not think is a kind of like symbol of America or of the Western world. I don't think so at all. I do think that Wano is Japan, yes, but like it's to protect themselves against the world government, which we know is pretty corrupt and they're hiding things.
So the world government, I think, is actually, well, like it's pretty clear that they're kind of the bad guys in the story, right? So then Luffy's crew, they're the good guys. The world government, they're kind of the bad guys. Sure, there's like good people within the world government, but there's also like mostly, you know, at the top. It seems like we know that, like, you know, what was his name? Yim? Im seems like he's bad from like the menacing kind of way he's drawn. But yeah,
it's just like in the dark shadows,
right? And that's typically for, you know, villains. But it's just, I think, yeah. So we can see that the world government's like kind of the bad guys, and they're just fighting against that. And then
So then.
Yeah,
I just want to say, like, so then again, because like the world government doesn't like equal to like America / Western forces and Western influence. I don't think it's that.
Sure.
But then I guess it's like, first of all, we have to also realize that One Piece is serialized on Shonen Jump, which is supposed to be targeting elementary schoolers. Like, I think it has to be quite simple that like, oh, like Kaido is bad, the country has been like tainted, rather than just like some nuanced kind of like form of like, wow, Japan is somehow, I guess, in like someone else's control, but like people are still fine. Because like honestly, the real world doesn't work like that. If it's like that shitty at that point, like someone's gonna do something. But yeah, so I don't think it's a like blatant like political commentary. However, it was interesting to see, and industrialization, I guess, is bad for Wano Kuni, but not necessarily for Japan.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, interesting take. So there's probably not too much parallel there, but yeah, I mean, it is interesting that like they basically made, like, Oda basically made Japan and then like had all these things, like all these like samurai,
I mean, the
like
name,
sumos,
even the name Wano, like Wano Kuni is just like the word. It's like Heiwa's wa,
and then
which is like
which is what
symbolizes Japan. Heiwa, which is peace, which is in Chinese the word is He, and then like in Chinese, if you were to talk about like the Japanese people, sometimes you say like 大和民族.
Okay.
And then 大和, like the pronunciation is different. It's Yamato, by the way.
Okay.
So then basically it is like they're using a lot of traditional symbols of Japan and how was Japan as a country / culture like called, symboled in like throughout history in this arc, which is interesting.
Yeah, it seems like they were doing that like a lot. But yeah, I mean with the sumos, samurais, the way they like kind of dress and like do things, it seems like they're like seppuku, stuff like that. Like it's just like
I don't think this is news to anyone, but yes, we notice obvious things too.
So it's just like I'm just saying that like it's not like the most creative thing to just make Japan and then like drawing a Japanese manga to just make Japan and then have the characters go to Japan. It's not the most creative thing. It's never happened before where like he just makes a country and then like have them go into it.
No, that's not true.
Sure.
Alabasta is Egypt.
Sure.
And,
okay.
Also Water 7 is Venice. Like he has talked about this before in his interviews.
Okay, so I meant
he has been
I meant for like a Japanese manga to like go to Japan, like
to go to Japan. Like yes,
like he just goes back. I mean, he could have done like what do people do, like even like Russia or something. I don't know. Some like foreign country. Like, more creative.
Russia is drum kingdom.
That's fair.
Yeah, he has been doing this.
Sure.
So then, like, people were anticipating Wano Kuni, like, from years ago, before Wano Kuni appeared. Because he kind of, like, promised that he is going to make an island Japan.
Oh.
And that's kind of why, like, this arc is so significant.
Okay, I see. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really know that, but it just felt like this arc was, like, extremely long or something.
It was.
So
oh my
it's
goodness.
just like,
it's the longest arc.
He kind of spent a lot of time here, like more so than maybe any other arc. So.
Not maybe, but yes, it is actually like the amount of chapters for this arc in the manga, even though yes, the anime dragged on even longer. But yeah, just originally there's a lot of material, and then there was a lot of flashbacks, which I thought was pretty cool. What did you think about the Odens and like Whitebeard and my god, Roger flashback?
So honestly, I didn't really care too much about the Japanese characters here. I mean, Kinemon and the group didn't really impress me too much. I think there might have been like I guess I just like I don't know, like I just never really paid attention to them, even like when they were first introduced at like Punk Hazard. I'm mainly more interested in like Luffy's progression and stuff like that, and then like the group, rather than like other characters. But like I get like it's like kind of been getting set up for a while now. Oden, I just didn't like. I didn't really understand why he was like super important. I guess they made him to be like, the guy, like the main guy, like that started everything back then 20 years ago. And then like they had him lead the uprising against I guess Kaido, and had him do all these like I guess savior actions. So he's like the savior of Wano. But yeah, I didn't really care too much about Odin's backstory or his I guess his entourage.
His vassal, yes. Yeah. To me, I really liked Odin, even though like I kind of agree that it was very confusing, like how I should feel about him at first, because I did read the manga until like Odin died. And at first it's just like he's so bizarre. Like he like cooks Odin and eats it on like some dead person's ashes basically, and then kills not kills, but like he's just like so strong. Like all these stories, it just sounds like like the Disney version of Hercules, kind of like, wow, he's been strong since the moment he was born.
Right.
And then it's like, to him, the country is too, I guess, restricted, right? Because during that time, Wano Kuni was in isolationism. Like, they wouldn't open the country. And then for, like, such a big and strong guy like him, like, he isn't that kind of typical ruler of a country. He's more just, like, this ball of energy that, like, needs to be released.
Sure.
And then that's why he was so charismatic to all sorts of, like, weird and sketchy people. Because, like, his, I guess, like, vassals aren't really, like, normal samurai people from, like, the samurai class, but then they're just, like, people from the grassroots, and then just, like, trying to follow him just because, like, he looks so cool as he tries to escape this country.
Right.
And then his whole goal is to open the country, right? And to finally open the borders, but then after going on that whole, like, journey outside as a pirate, he realizes that, like, oh, Wano Kuni is not ready to be opened yet, even though, like, he knows that eventually it has to be open. But yeah, I thought it was like, I don't really like Oden as a character, but I thought what he did was super cool. Like, you know, that whole scene of him in the boiling water or oil, I don't really remember, as he held all his vassals, like, on top of himself for like an hour, and I was just like, oh my god, so manly, so fucking cool. And so, like, things like that, it's just in typical Oda fashion, he's so good at making, like, such, like, kind of funny but also just, like, bizarre scenes just hit so well emotionally. And then also I thought it was really cool that, like, Toki, his wife, basically knows everything about what happened in the Void Century, but then, like, we don't really know anything just because, like, oh god, we don't get to see his journal and everything. But yeah, it's just nice to feel that, oh, Oda's thinking about these things, and then he has a story about, like, the Void Century, and about what, like, Laugh Tale, like, what is on Laugh Tale, and, like, what Joy Boy is, like, all sorts of things, like, the lore that is hidden in his flashback. I thought was really cool.
Yeah, the lore. Yeah, I like the lore a lot as well, where we just kind of find out more about One Piece and, like, what it's actually about, and, like, what happened in the Void Century, because it's been hinted for years now, and we just never,
decades, actually.
we never know, and we're just getting more and more, like, kind of clues, you know, the frozen straw hat and, like, stuff like that. It's like the large frozen straw hat and stuff like that. It's like, and then, like, funny enough, we see Luffy wearing a large straw hat after unlocking Gear 5, so it's quite interesting.
Well,
but
he enlarged himself, and his straw hat also, I guess, like, enlarged with him.
Right.
So.
His clothes and straw hat and all that also all enlarged. It wasn't just him being naked without a straw hat. That would be weird. But yeah, I mean, it's just it's pretty good. I mean, I think I like.
Do you want to talk about your theory of what the One Piece is?
Oh yeah, the time machine. Maybe, yeah. I mean, like, the thing is, like, when Roger and his, like, crew kind of went there, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we arrived too early. You know, it's not ready yet." So then, just, like, laughed it off. You know, somebody else will find it later, probably. Maybe they, like, found out that, like, it's all kind of, I don't know, like a cycle kind of thing, time machine maybe, where, like, Luffy is Joy Boy, and, like, he kind of, like, people are constructing a time machine or something, and then they find the One Piece, they go back to the Void Century, Luffy goes Gear 5, leaves his big straw hat in the end or something, and then that's where the entire story kind of restarts again. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but essentially he goes back into the past and then goes back into the future to make sure that everything kind of turns out the way it does. And then yeah, I don't really know exactly, but that's kind of the theory. Like, and then, like, in the end, they find the All Blue, or they find the All Blue maybe in the past or something, and then maybe they just in the Void Century, and then
That's so depressing. In the past,
yeah. And then they, in the future, like, something, like, they go to the moon, and then find Enel and his gang of Martians, or moonshins. I don't know, moon peoples. Yeah, I mean, it could be a time machine. So who knows?
So you mean that, as I have asked you before, but Luffy is the one and only Joy Boy, rather than like some reincarnation or like a second version of Joy Boy.
It seems like Luffy. So his fruit is human fruit now. Like now that we know, it's not the gum fruit; it's a human fruit, like Pika edition.
Pika?
Yeah,
What,
Nika edition. Yes, that's what I meant.
Okay.
So maybe he took on the name Nika. I'm not sure. Like I don't know. But it's interesting that like they swung it that way. It's also interesting that like we never got the impression that the gum fruit was a different fruit until now. Like until like basically the last like I don't know 10 episodes or something after he turned Gear 5. Or before.
Yeah, moments like that.
We never knew. Like any
yeah,
there was
right.
no hints,
Again,
I think.
moments like that, I doubt Oda actually thought of
Right,
this.
yes, and that's pretty telling. Like the Void Sentry stuff, like I think from back then, we know that like he probably thought of it back then because he put it in, but like in order to like allude to it about 5 episodes before it happens, I think he might not have thought about that, or he might just put it in like as we went. So it's just
Yeah, as much as I know that people say like Goda, I don't know how people pronounce it, but like because he is God, he like thought of everything, and then there are like hints everywhere. I know that people have hinted it, like people have like video like compilations, like blog posts of like, oh yeah, he actually hinted it in the very beginning. Like I don't believe that shit. It's just I mean,
it's very easy. Like once
it's kind of confirmation bias,
right.
And it's like, oh, good for you for feeling, I guess, like faith in just one single author, which is great.
No, it's cool.
I truly think that Oda is such a great author, but I just don't think that he actually thought of like this Nika thing so long
right
ago.
Right, because we never heard of the name Nika, I think, before. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I think it's pretty cool though. I like how he's actually the owner of the human fruit, like Nika edition, and Chopper is the owner of human fruit useless edition. So it's just it's very interesting.
I don't know. You're so mean to Chopper. Anyways, but yeah, like I don't know if I like that simply because like I liked the idea of Luffy just having this lame ass thing, but just being really good at working with it. And like now it's just like no, he was special like all the time, and it was like what like that feeling of like, oh god, it was just like reading Naruto back in the day and then like realizing that he was the son of the 4th Hokage. It's like that kind of feeling. Like I wanted to just watch this like failure of a person kind of like grow and be the best person, like even though he had the like demon fox within him, he like controlled it, used its power, and became the strongest like ninja. But no, actually he was just like, it's not like nepotism, basically like nepotism. Like his dad was a Hokage, so obviously he's gonna be like Hokage, and like Boruto probably will be the Hokage as well. It's like it's a family business. And it's like sorry, completely off topic, but I just hate that feeling of like being betrayed, and it's like, oh, they were special all along.
Well, I think like for that, I like it when it's like that, because then it's like it kind of makes sense then, because otherwise like we're following them because they're special, so that they have to be special.
Well, they're special because of like very human things. I like that. It's like, oh, it's because of their integrity, it's because of their perseverance, because of their optimism.
It's because
like,
he had the super's god fruit.
Yeah, right, and it just
The
makes
best
me
fruit.
want to die.
It's so good.
like
That was really
reading
cool.
slash watching it makes me want to die.
Really good.
But it is okay. Like, I do like the whole art style of Gear 5, even though I did think, like, I don't know if it's just the anime, but then, like, the fight of, like, him being in Gear 5 dragged out for a little too long for my liking. But I like the Looney Tunes kind of, like, really not anime-like.
They went back to the roots.
Like, yeah, aesthetic style. That was just really cool. It's just, like, he let his imagination run wild, and then, like, Oda let his imagination run wild, and also like Luffy did too. So then he beat like this like serious bad dude Kaido with just like random things.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, it was very different. I like Gear 5 as well. I think
Yeah, I like it way more than Gear 4. Gear 4
Yeah.
looks so lame.
Gear 4
I
is
just
just
don't like it.
it looks weak.
I think it looks strong. I thought it looked strong the first time I saw
Right.
it in Dressrosa, I believe.
Right, because like once
I thought that was
they
cool.
show it off the first time, it's like they gotta make it like, you know, kind of, you know, feel really really good, and then like afterwards it basically did nothing the entire time.
Yeah.
So then I was like,
and
what
then
the fuck?
it's kind of worse for him.
Yeah.
Because like he kind of gets
He
like
suffers.
immobilized for a while,
Yeah.
and it's like, might as well not do it. And then also I just don't like the style of it. It's like just random, you know, marks on him, and then his eyes are like panda eyes, and I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, I like Gear 5's look, like on a visual standpoint.
Right. He just went Ultra Instinct.
But I don't like the fact that he's like basically God reincarnated. It's like, oh,
It's good.
okay, good for him.
Yeah.
No, that's lame. That's just like weak. God damn it! Can we just have one normal person just like be good just because they have, I don't know, hard work and perseverance?
Isn't that Goku?
I want that.
Goku and Vegeta. Goku versus Vegeta
No!
kind of thing.
The moment I realized that Goku is actually an alien, I felt the same kind of like betrayal. You don't understand.
No, but like Goku's like a peasant Saiyan, you know. And then
Still, he's still
Vegeta is the
Saiyan.
Prince of Saiyans, you know.
And I do like Vegeta more.
Oh,
Vegeta
interesting.
is my prince
Interesting.
from like childhood. I cannot betray
I
my
see.
love for
I
Vegeta.
see. So Vegeta being the special prince, the special one, you kind of.
He's just so angry. He's so good. Like I feel like a kindred spirit in Vegeta when I see him.
Oh.
But yeah, I don't know. Again, how would you rank Wano in terms of like arcs? You don't have to give like a very precise like
Yeah, I mean
position, but I'm just kind of curious.
So I'm just thinking about it. Like I would rank the first half like kind of, you know, kind of whatever. Middle, like basically until the end, I kind of felt like it was boring. Because like, we saw a lot of setup and a lot of like side stories about side characters that I didn't really feel too much about. I mean, I think you liked the one with the blue-haired guy, the general, where the general was like always serious, then he ate the smile fruit, and then he like laughed all the time.
And then he ate it like
He ate it because
on his
like
own accord.
he ate it because his daughter accidentally ate it, so then he was
and
like,
then
I'll do it too.
He like made everyone happy, so then they're not just smiling for no reason. He's so good. Oh my god.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't like the whole smile thing.
I love it.
Yeah. So I would just like give it like a, I don't know, it was a 5 out of 10 or something, 4 out of 10 maybe. And then the final fight.
No, I'm not talking about like 5 out of 10, 4 out of 10. I'm just like,
Oh.
in terms of One Piece, like, is it better than any arcs? Is it worse than any arcs? Like, how would you place
See,
it?
that's really
rather
hard.
than-
Yeah, because like then we'd have to talk about all the arcs, which
It's getting a little long.
I don't know. I think the last like really great arc for me, it's really hard to say because the thing is like I literally like I had to like stop at a certain point since it got so boring that like I just stopped. I think it was around Zoe. Like I could not continue. So then
One Piece fans go after him.
it was just like the characters just got so outrageously weird, and then the power scaling got so out of whack that I was like, what the hell is going on? This is like sort of why I quit Bleach at a certain point, like near the where everybody turned German and like the Germans invaded.
Oh my god.
And then the
Oh my
power
god.
scaling also got super out of whack. Like it's just whenever
No, but then it was out of whack at the beginning. Okay, Bleach, it was out of whack way before the Germans came. Just wanted to say it.
I was like following everything up until that point,
Oh,
but then
no. Oh no.
they started coming out with like super weird like rules and powers that I wasn't really used to. So I was just like, okay. It's cool. I was following really closely, like Fishman Island. After Time Skip was really good, like for a few arcs. I think even Dressrosa was like pretty good. I followed pretty intensely for Dressrosa, so
Dressrosa,
yeah.
when Usopp became God Usopp, I cried so much. You don't understand.
Yeah.
I was very invested in that.
Yeah, I like
character arc.
I like the old guy, like the old Marine guy. So I would definitely yeah, and then
Fujitora.
Doflamingo's story was pretty cool. I mean, I liked
Yeah.
I liked that
I
fight.
love Law.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
Law.
yeah.
and
Law
that's
Law
why.
makes everything better. Like Law
Oh my god,
yeah.
Law in this arc.
Yeah, we got a
So
lot of Law here.
cool.
Yeah, that was really good.
So cool.
Yeah, I like the
No
whole.
offense, Kid is lame.
Yeah, Kid is weird, but Law is cool. So then I think yeah, I think it'd have to just be any arc with like a lot of Law would be good. So I think that this one Dressrosa tops Wano, but Wano's like kind of okay too. This is only after Time Skip. I don't really. Yeah. How about you?
Complicated. I feel like one is so long that it's very difficult to rank.
Yeah, so I was trying to
It's
split
kind
it up.
of, yeah. And I like the beginning half where you think it's boring. I don't like some of the fights. That's like my biggest problem. Like also I kind of agree, like even though we had this conversation about power scaling and I was like I don't really care about power scaling, but then it is kind of it's a little jarring at some points during some of the fights because it's like, wait, this doesn't make sense, right?
Right. So
like Jack just
right.
like destroyed the whole island of Zoe. Yeah, he had like the virus by Queen, but it's also just like, oh wow, he just was so strong, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, he actually doesn't really matter.
Right.
And then
I was
also,
expecting something from Jack actually, like this
Yeah.
you know, for Wano, but because like I remember he destroyed everything. I was like, what? And then like this is just, I mean, it's cool, but like what? And then now like they balanced him out a little bit, then nerfed him to the ground. So it's like, okay.
yeah, and then there's just, I really didn't like how there were so many different kinds of enemies like during this arc. It's like the Tobiroppo, there's the like headliners,
the headliners,
yeah, the numbers, and then it's like the pleasures, the fucking
the waiters,
the waiter. Yeah, it's just like like I don't care. And then also there are like the gifters that like, you know, they're the stronger gifters like speed and like whatever. It's like it's just so many of them, and then it's hard for me to care about each and every one of them. And I kind of understand, it's like because we have so many different kinds of good guys right now. We have the minks, we have the ninjas, we have the samurai, we have so many different like people, so then we need to kind of like create a special class of bad guys that like kind of corresponds to their skill level as well. But then it's just
so for me it's like so I think this is the biggest thing. Like I'm kind of, you know, I'm more simple I kind of want to keep things like where the expectations are set, and then like you kind of move according to that. I didn't know where like anybody stood in terms of power level. I think
Yeah.
in most of Wano. So then it just felt like in the beginning the headliners, so the arrow guy was like so insane that like he was able to beat Luffy like he was faster than Luffy, or like he was just like able to like just run circles around Luffy just by the shooting arrows guy. Like what was his name even?
No. I don't know. It
He
doesn't
seemed
matter.
he looked so insane in the beginning. I was like, wow, what's going on? And then it was like situations that really mattered. They were kidnapping like the little girl, and
Oh
then
yeah.
it's like Luffy just like get him already, no? And then the speed guy, like the horse guy, even like ran super fast. And then
It's a girl.
oh no, not that guy, the other guy, the cap the guy that was really fast, the gazelle man.
Oh, well, yeah, the gazelle. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
like
gazelle
he was
man.
just
Yeah.
so fast. And then the Batman was like so fast as well. And then I'm like, wait, but like these are just headliners. You should have no problem with them.
They're not headliners even. Right?
They are.
Wait. I thought headliners are the like King Queen Jack.
Oh, there.
I don't. You see, this is
Wait.
why it's confusing. I know what you're talking about, but then it's like
Is it?
they're the more important gifters, basically, in my brain.
What's it called again? Let's see. What is it called? What are they called?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
I don't care. But that's why, like, yes, you can say that our review is shit because like we don't like look at the like details of like, oh, what are things called?
No,
But,
I think
I'm just
no.
a normal
I think
viewer.
we're fine because it's just like there's just like we pretty much know a lot about One Piece. Like we're very
We do.
yeah.
Like
we
actually, most of the like die-hard like One Piece fans online, they have not read One Piece. Like I actually read from the beginning to
well the thing is like
4 times.
here's how like kind of fanatical you are. It's like you studied to become like to try to become like an editor or something like that, right? For some One Piece thing. Was it like you like memorize the
yeah,
entire
one
you
thing.
memorize the entire like story
Yeah.
up to a certain point.
Up to a certain point, and like Wano is not part of my
yeah,
point.
sure. But like
That's why.
when did you stop then? Like you memorized like this is even like pretty recent, right? So
No, well, it's
yeah, so
during
so it's
COVID,
just like
like
yeah, I mean
2020.
we kind of like we got most of the stuff covered.
3 years.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, oh god, and we also didn't talk about the live action.
Yeah, we'll
but
go
then it's
into
like,
that, but yeah.
oh god, but One Piece is my favorite, like, manga series, I guess, because I don't really like the anime ever. But it's like, oh god, Wano is not as good as I thought it was gonna be, simply because like it was so highly anticipated. Because everyone's like, oh my god, the Japan island's gonna come, and then I was like,
Sure.
oh, it's so long. Like there are parts I really liked, but to be quite honest, it's like the good parts are just as good as just like the good parts in Dressrosa or like the good parts in Alabasta.
Right. Yeah.
And because of the scale of like Alabasta, for example, it's so much more enjoyable because like
Right.
like you know the good parts are basically in the same level, but then it's just a bigger proportion because it's not so bloated.
Sure. Yeah. I mean
Yeah, so
it
then,
was just a lot of side stories and side quests and side notes and stuff like that, and it was
I like side things. I just don't like the fights that
Sure.
like don't matter as much. And also, oh my god, we didn't even talk about King, which I thought that was pretty cool, but at the same time, like I don't have
yeah.
we didn't get enough like hints of this demon race
Right.
for me to care too
We didn't
much when
yeah.
he
It
finally
was
came
just
out.
randomly dropped. We didn't have anything like on the lunar stuff. So I think he's trying.
Oh, Lunarians.
Yeah.
Like I'm interested. I can't say I'm not intrigued.
Sure.
I am. But just like it didn't it's not like, oh my god, I have had this question for this long time and now it's finally getting answered. It's kind of like, oh well, there's a new like element to
Right.
the lore kind of
Yeah,
thing.
I just
cool.
I wish that some parts were like kind of talked about a little bit more in depth, or like at least hinted at, like the Void Century stuff. Like that stuff is cool, so because we know about it, but yeah, the Lunarian stuff, they're just trying to fit it in real quick. So it's like, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Like, part of it might just be like we're older now, and then like we kind of like already like spent years and years on One Piece and stuff like that. Like through the years, it's a lot of time.
Still, I'm very excited for it to like get somewhere and end. Like,
Sure.
I was going to read Egghead, but then also I'm just kind of busy right now. But
Yeah.
I'm really like excited about Egghead because it answers a lot of questions.
Sure, yeah. I kind of want to
I like
read
lore.
into that. Yeah, it's good. I think that like I preferred back then, like where it was like fairly easy to see the power scaling of like everybody. So then like CP9, even like pretty much like one of my favorites. Like same with Alabasta. Like the reason why these were so good, I think at least for me, like back then, was just it was very easy for me to see like who was badass and who was not, and then like you just kind of see like badass like kind of showdowns. So Luffy, Captain, versus Rob Lucci, who's like the captain of his like squad, and then they have like numbers and stuff like that. So then you understand very easily.
Yeah.
But for Wano,
Which I feel like they tried to do that with the like King Queen Jack, and then I guess Tobiropo, but then like Tobiropo is also just kind of like a different system than them, and I'm like,
right. So
what?
part of like the thing is with this one is that like, or even like, I think it was just a problem with Wano. Is that like Queen is such a joke character that like you're unsure, and then I guess he's just Queen, and then at the end, Sanji, like they do what they need to do, which is like they make Sanji beat Queen, and then they make Zoro beat King, and then they make Luffy beat.
That was very clear.
Yeah, you gotta do that
structure.
And then you gotta do the problem is like the other systems were very, very unclear, and then I think
it's too complicated. There are too many characters, and then I just don't have the attention span to actually care about so many characters. To be quite honest, like I'm just like, why are the Minks here? Like, wait, we still have to care about them? I just remembered. Yeah, like they Jack destroyed their land, so then they kind of have to get back at Jack. And also, we didn't even freaking talk about Big Mom. Like,
oh yeah, the Big Mom Pirates are.
There's just so many.
Yeah, the Big Mom Pirates have their own kind of
things.
thing. But it's so like kind of messy and disjointed that like even though Big Mom died, or like got defeated,
well, they're just
stuck in lava because like they have to use their haki to stay alive or something like that. And then. And we can tell that I think Big Mom stayed alive because there's still Zeus alive. So then, so her power hasn't like returned to the sea. Her power hasn't like kind of dissipated. Unless she did die and then like her power stays on for some reason forever. I'm not sure if that's probably not the case, but generally when people are defeated, their power goes away. I think, right?
I think so.
Yes. So she. Still struggling, I think, in the lava. And then Kaido's a dragon, so I guess he's chilling in the lava as well.
I guess they don't need food, even though Big Mom has.
Look at Big Mom. I don't think she needs food for a very long time.
Oh my god, you're fat shaming.
Okay, well, I mean, it's true, in that like if you're very big, you don't need food for a very long time.
Oh my god, that's so not true. You know that, right? Anyways, that is beyond the point. We're not having like nutrition talk right now.
I'm just kidding.
But yeah.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, yeah. I mean, even the Big Mom Pirates, like we did not like get a good grasp on their power scaling and stuff like that.
It's like, the Minks, they have to fight Pero Sparrow because they killed Pedro, and I'm like, but yeah, that happened.
The thing
I
didn't understand. Like, so Pedro like kind of blew himself up, right? So then, the Pero guy was like, hey, didn't he just like blow himself up? Like I didn't actually do it. And then he's like, and then the rabbit mink like was like, no, and I'm like, what? That's pretty delusional.
Well, he died for a cause. He suicide bombed.
I guess so.
And yeah, so technically he died because of him.
I guess so.
So I guess
I
so.
guess so, yeah.
But again, I sorry, I don't really care about minks.
Oh wow.
I am a little R words about the minks.
Wow.
Just like cannot really care.
How could you?
It's okay. And yeah, we didn't even talk about Momonosuke. We didn't even talk about Komurasaki.
Right.
We didn't
There's
talk about
so much to it.
Otoko.
Right. So we gotta.
There's just
Yeah,
so many
I
characters.
kind of wanted to go.
and that bothers
Right. I
me.
kind of wanted to like originally like before we started. I kind of wanted to like go in order of like just timeline because there's just so much to cover about Wano. But like
True.
here we are. We got to the end. We did not talk about like those characters because like one like
Because they're not that
they don't
important.
matter. Yeah.
Like that's the
kinda
issue.
whatever.
Like you can force me to talk about it from beginning to end. I can try to recite like whatever happened. But also it's like I don't really see a point
Sure.
in that. Yeah, it's like whatever I feel about it, like whatever thing I feel strongly about, I think it'll just blurt out of my mind. So it's like I don't think
Yeah. No, it is what it is. It's fine.
this is not a video essay, even though I hope that our channel becomes
Oh.
something like video essays, but
It's just chats about the show. I mean, it's good though.
yeah.
So we've been kind of going for an hour here. Any kind of closing thoughts, or did you want to kind of?
I'm
what were we
excited
on?
for Egghead.
What did we
Rate
yeah.
it?
What would you rate it?
I would give it a 7, which is pretty low for One Piece in my big book,
Yes.
but it's pretty high in other books. You
Yeah,
know?
7 out of 9. That's pretty good. I would rate it a 7 out of 10.
I'm also 7 out of 10, bro.
You don't give 10s, so
Well, one day I might.
oh snap. Okay, well, it's the Asian grading scale, so it's curved.
No, again, maybe Mob Psycho is a 10. Like Mob Psycho season 3.
I mean,
holy
what did
fuck,
you
that
give it
shit
when we
kills me.
rated it?
Probably not.
Yeah, that's what I. Yeah, I don't remember ever like. Well, we talked about Mob
Yeah, I don't
Psycho.
think I
Actually,
give it.
we were in an earlier episode. Mob Psycho was great.
Yeah, I love Mob Psycho so much.
Super good.
Oh.
Yeah.
It pains me to think about
yeah.
it.
But yeah, I mean, so 7 out of 9 and 7 out of 10 here. You heard it here first.
But yeah.
Go and watch it again if you haven't already.
It's so long. Please don't watch it. Actually, just read it or just wait for One Piece to actually finish the whole arc. Don't do this to yourself.
Or do it.
If you don't have a job,
Oh.
I guess.
I mean, exactly. It is that season anyway, so
Unemployment season.
Yeah.
Good luck, y'all.
Very good. So that's it from us. Like, subscribe,
Bye.
comment for the one person still watching.
Bye.
Bye.